Excellent things to remember, but just not for this project. All right. So for making slabs, you want to start with the more mature clay, not the real gooey fresh stuff. It works better if it's a little bit drier because it just doesn't stick to the canvas as much. I'm going to take handfuls of clay and I'm going to take them and pound them so they're a little flat, like an inch thick, into the canvas, and I'm going to make a rectangular shaped blob because I'm cutting rectangular shaped pieces out of it, right? Now, I'm not taking a giant blob and going like this, because all that does is hurt your hand. It's not how you do it. I'm also not taking it and like, no, because that just little bits come off, someone's in the eye, like you get hurt, it's not good. And I'm not doing this. Like people will sit there and go, oh my God, I can't believe he said that to you. That is so terrible. And they just like no, you know, like that'll take you days to make a slab. It should take you, ooh, there's a dry piece. That should take you a few minutes to pound out a slab, not a long time. So you see, I'm kind of making corners in my blob. I'm overlapping the handfuls and pounding them together. I'm not smoothing, no, these are all the things you don't want to do. I'm just pounding them together and making a rectangular blob that's about 2 inches, maybe a little more, from the edge of my canvas. So it's gonna be here. And then that means that when I throw it in the slab, I'm not gonna throw it, when I roll it in the slab roller, it's going to elongate it and thin it out over the rest of my canvas. So for you, I would probably come maybe a little past halfway to make your slab so that it doesn't go off the canvas, but it also gives you a big enough slab that you can really use the whole thing. So let's see, one more handful. I'm gonna stop right about here because I think you guys get the idea of pounding it up. If there's things that might be cracks, you can kind of, you know, lute them together a little bit, but is this perfect? No. I want the slab roller to do the work, right? So I'm gonna take this and I walk over the slab roller. Please don't pound on the slab roller. Very unpleasant, you see. So you wanna do the pounding at the tables over there. I'm gonna lay this on here so that the end that's closest, the end of the canvas is closest to the roller that has the clay. Let me say that again. The end of the canvas with the clay is closest to the roller. And I know that this is gonna be here because it says, do not remove from the slab roller. Do you hear like, that frustration if you take it? That's what that says right there. And then I line these two up. I put them underneath the slab roller. Now, if it weren't a day like today where we're all making slabs, you would want to check how thick it is. And these are how you adjust the thickness. I like to put it around 1/4 of an inch thick. It's actually a little thicker than that because there's a little like play in the gears at this point. Because this is our old friend. You have to be nice. Shh. Thank you. Shh. You have to be nice to your old friend. If it starts jumping or moving, too much clay. You have too much clay in there. If it starts squeaking, it's just talking to us. That's all it is. So I see 2 canvases coming out. That's important so they don't get stuck. And then I'm going to start rolling toward my canvas. There we go. It's catching. It might not. If it doesn't go, you might need to push it through a little more so the clay catches. There we go. And then the moment of truth. Look how pretty. Guys, do you have a question? Do you see how pretty? I mean, not everyone sees beauty in a slab, but really, look at that. It's nice and even. There you go. Now to cut your templates. We already have, do you have questions? Guys? Okay, thank you. So you cut your template. You already have that ready. This is my 5x5 square. Now, before I cut anything, I'm going to kind of check to see if I can, how efficient I can be. Do I cut right there? No, because that's very inefficient and I've wasted time in slab. If I go here and then I mark, oh, it's just a little short, but that's okay because I have a little extra right here. I can do things like get rid of this little edge, pound that in. Oh, look, it's pretty even. Now there's enough. The other option you have, and I should have grabbed this one, we came up with these little tiny wooden dowels that worked really well as rolling pins when we were all home during the pandemic. And now look at, it's like perfect. It'll roll it for me. Make sure it's clean. This one's got a little crud. But you can use that to even out the edge too if you want. That or hit it, either way. Now, I put my template down and I'm going to use a fettling knife. F-E-T-T-L-I-N-G. I don't know what it means, it's a weird name, but they're really nice and thin and you wanna make sure they have a nice straight one. Some of them are getting a little bent, but It'll give me a really nice, clean, vertical cut. So I'm very careful to hold it vertically, whoops, so that I get a really nice cut. And if I get a really nice, clean, vertical cut, I can use that edge and be super efficient with my slab and cut it this way. So I'm gonna cut all the way around, like so. Look at that, look at that. I'm gonna do 2 right away, but I'm gonna go right up to that edge because I was careful and I made a nice cut. Now right here, I'm gonna go right to the edge of my clay, and it tends to sort of rip a little edge off. So I'm gonna put my thumb on the end and cut into my thumb. These are not sharp. You're not gonna hurt yourself. They're nice and thin. Oh, 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 I messed up my thing. Hold it down. But there we go. So I got my pieces. These can go back in the mature clay bucket. And now, oh, I'll fix that later. But I don't want to pick it up like this because I just made a beautiful edge. I don't want to mess up my edge trying to grab it out of the canvas. And the canvas will have absorbed some moisture, so it kind of wants to stick. So you have a couple options. One, I can pull the canvas up, like kind of have my thumb underneath, and slowly lift these off like that. And I'm going to set it nice and flat on a board I have waiting. And then I take the next one and I'm gonna line it up so they sit nice and straight on top of each other. And I'm gonna put paper towel in between them, not a ton because I want to dry too much, but enough that they just dry slightly over the weekend or overnight so that I can stack the next one on top of each other, pulls a little moisture out. And then at the end of class, I take all the slabs I'm done with and what happened to my bag? And I wrap them in a bag so that they are sealed. No air gets into them. It's tucked in tight. This goes in your locker over the weekend so that they're workable for Monday. And then you do your partner slabs. So get everybody's slabs cut together. You make one slab at a time between the 2 of you. Make sense?